Hi, everybody, and welcome back. This is week number 10, and this week we're going to talk about rough drafting before you actually get started working on your rough draft. The majority of the work this week is going to be actually producing your rough draft for submission. I'm going to ask you to hold off on writing your rough draft until you receive your graded outline and any associated feedback with it. So I know it's tempting to work ahead, but please wait until you have that outline back. Whenever you have a grade and some feedback for your outline, you're welcome to get started working early on your rough draft if you wish to. So this week, in focusing entirely on rough drafting, just to define it, it's the process of creating a first version of an essay. And the idea with rough drafting is to write as quickly and as efficiently as possible, remembering always that you can make changes later. Okay, rough drafting is not about perfection. It's about getting an actual product together, knowing that you're going to have time later on to look it over and to make any kind of changes that you want. We need to briefly talk about the parts of an essay. I'm going to be giving you some enrichment material. There's a site that I'm going to suggest you look at, and another video, an outside video that I'm going to suggest that you review, as well as a handout, just so that we're clear on the different parts of an essay. We're working technically on what's called an expository essay that is going to provide information about either the symptoms or the treatments for a particular condition. We're going to have three distinct parts. We're going to have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Okay, your introduction will be a single paragraph. Your body will be 3 to 5 paragraphs, depending on the number of variables that you're dealing with. And your conclusion will also be a single paragraph. I'm going to go over each of the different parts. So the introduction, again, as I just said, is a full paragraph. And it should begin with some type of general statement or some type of thought-provoking statement about your condition. It narrows down, and then it usually presents the thesis statement as the last sentence. When you're writing your introduction, you want to aim for approximately 6 to 8 sentences so that you have enough room to create a full paragraph. Your body paragraphs are where the real heavy lifting comes in. Okay, this is where you're actually making the points of your essay. Every paragraph needs to have a topic sentence that identifies the main idea of the paragraph. So the topic sentence also states the point that the writer wishes to make about that subject. It often is the paragraph's very first sentence. Okay? You've already written your topic sentences with your outline, so you're 10 steps ahead already. Using the detail that you recorded in the outline, so the point form information that you recorded, you then move on in each paragraph to make your points and provide detail. Please be sure, okay, be very, very careful to use in-text citations here, whether you're direct quoting or you're paraphrasing. In a paragraph, you normally do not want more than one direct quote, so you want to aim to really be paraphrasing and synthesizing that material. Again, you want to aim for about 6 to 8 sentences per body paragraph, but you might end up with some longer paragraphs if the point that you're explaining is particularly complex. And that's going to vary from topic to topic, and it's going to vary from individual to individual. So remember, all rules are made to be broken. 6 to 8 is just a rule of thumb, just a guideline. You might find that you end up going over. Your concluding paragraph is the single paragraph that brings your essay to a close. You probably want to paraphrase your thesis statement here. So you want to repeat it, but you want to repeat it in different words. It usually ends with your final thought. And again, you've come up with that memorable or concluding statement in your outline. Again, you can make any changes to it that you want. If you find you don't like it after taking another look at it, you can change it. But you want to have some very distinct way to bring the essay to a close. And again, you want to aim for 6 to 8 sentences for a full paragraph here. I'm going to ask you to open up the document with the enrichment resources, and I'm going to highly recommend that you take a look at those 2 external sources just to go over essay structure. I'm also going to be putting a file up for you, and I'm going to open this file. I think it's a very nice example of essay structure for the expository essay. and it goes over the different parts, so the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Let's just go over again that structure one more time. So your introduction, right, is where you want to hook the reader in and you want to capture his or her attention. So you want to open up with a technique that's going to get eyes on that paper right away. Okay, it contains a topic sentence, in other words, the thesis statement of the essay, and it identifies the 3 or more main ideas that are going to be explained in the body of the essay. We've already taken care of this by crafting a thesis statement that identifies the topic, the specific claim, and then the different variables that you'll talk about. The body of your paper, obviously the longest section of the essay, 3 or more fully developed paragraphs. So 1 paragraph to support each main idea stated in the introduction. And each paragraph should only be on that 1 variable. Okay, so each little paragraph is its own little chunk or its own little part. It has a topic sentence and at least 4 to 5 supporting detail sentences. You need enough room to really explain. You'll probably go beyond 4 to 5. You can also use some transitional words and phrases to help move the reader from one idea to another. So using words saying something like also, additionally. Okay, another thing to consider is these are nice to haves because what they do is they sort of take your reader by the hand and bring them through the information so that you're actually guiding them through all of the material that you're presenting. Your conclusion, again, full paragraph, okay? It brings closure to the essay. So think on that idea. Think about that word closure. What you're trying to do is bring everything together. It should briefly restate the 3 main ideas without repeating the exact same words in the introduction. So don't just do a cut and paste job, right? You want to express it in a slightly different way. But again, reminding the reader of those big ideas, those 3 to 5 main ideas that you talked about in the body of your paper. And again, it's going to end with that final thought or that memorable statement. So you'll notice here on the handout, it says it may end with a strong statement or an appeal to the emotions. Some type of philosophical statement that's going to tie everything together. So think of it like a big bow on a present, right? Brings everything to a close, wraps everything up. When you're doing your rough draft, I have some things to keep in mind, okay? So it is time to write now. I'm giving you the majority of our classwork time to write. Your assignment this week simply is to write a rough draft, okay? It's going to contain at least 5 paragraphs. So an introduction, a body times at least 3 paragraphs, and a conclusion. There is no page number requirement, okay? I want you to write the essay from the heart. So that what you're doing is you're including as much information as you need to. You're the expert on your topic now. You're the best judge as to how long this should be. It is, though, what I'm going to ask you to think of as a mini essay. So I'm not expecting like 10 pages or anything like that. As long as you've covered all of the detail that you need to, your rough draft is good to go. Try not to worry overly about mechanics or grammar. With the rough draft, what you want to do is focus on ideas. You want to focus on following the structure of the essay, and you want to focus on being clear. Okay, so we can worry about the nuts and bolts and the making it pretty when we actually get to the final draft stage. So try not to revise as you go. Okay, this is, again, maybe one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you at this point. Try not to rewrite things. Just get it done, get it written, knowing that, again, you can go and pretty it up and do all sorts of fancy things later. There is no title page or references page required at this stage because this is a rough draft, but APA in-text citations are required, okay? They are not optional. You need to show where your information is coming from. And again, bears repeating, you will definitely have an opportunity to revise this before your final draft. So this is just, step number 1, okay, in getting your essay together. We're going to have a bit of a cool-off period where you're not going to look at your draft. Then you'll be able to go to it with fresh eyes. make any changes that you want before you actually prepare it as a kind of final submission. In the next video, I'm going to go over the specifications for the rough draft. So again, as I always say, grab a cup of coffee. It's time to write, and I hope you enjoy the process.